Hey, 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 what is up? What's happening? I am so excited for this. It's going to be amazing. And so, super excited for this. This is going to be not just super helpful, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. And, these guys they're awesome. Like, I just love their energy. I just love being around them. And you're going to love them too. If you don't already know them, which you probably already do, but we're certainly going to have some fun. So I want to make sure that we have a few people on for them. And so I want to give away some stuff. So I'm going to bribe you. Here's where I bribe you to share things. All right. Very simple, very easy for you to do, very meaningful for me. And so I appreciate you sharing. What's up, Andy? I'll be coaching you here in a few hours. I hope you're ready. Hope you're ready for this. So if you would like to win one of our Time, Money, Freedom books, feel free to share, then drop the comment that you shared so I know that you shared, and I'm going to pick a few people to win our book, and we'll ship it out to you. Let me find my guy first who handles our prizes. All right. And so, all right. And by the way, my memory is like, I may have given you a gift like an hour ago, and I will not have remembered because once I say it in here, it's gone off there and I erase my memory from it. So even if you've won a book from me recently, you can probably get me to give you one again. And so if you're on here, you want to win a Time, Money, Freedom book, possibly just share, drop me a comment that you shared, and we'll pick some people. All right. So here we go. All right. Sarah Sultan. That's a name I don't feel I've said before. Sarah Sultan gets a Time, Money, Freedom book. PJ Ray gets a Time, Money, Freedom book. Gina Sarin gets a Time, Money, Freedom book. Are you related to the other one? Is it the same last name? I don't know. Levon Oswald gets a Time, Money, Freedom book. And let's do one more here. And another name I don't feel like I've said. Karanil Sanabria gets a Time, Money, Freedom book. And I apologize if my pronunciations were absolutely horrible. All you do is you shoot an email to support@higdongroup.com. They'll get your address and we'll mail you out. If I said your name, mail you out a copy of Time, Money, Freedom. And so I am really excited about this interview. It's going to be amazing. They were our #1 affiliates for a contest we ran a little bit ago, a couple months ago, I believe. And they have been contributing to our community for a little bit. And they are going to be speakers at RankMakers Live, which if you do not have a ticket to RankMakers Live, it's rankmakerslive.com. And we have a lot of bonuses there that you can gain access to right away. Check out the page. You're getting a couple $1,000 worth of bonuses just for getting any level of ticket, and it is 1 month away. So you got 1 month, and then we're going to rock our event. And I really believe if you give me 3 days, we can change your life. We can transform your life. And I hope you understand. We really take that seriously. I'm going to give you my all, and we look forward to seeing you on there. So these two are amazing, and it's one of my favorite people to introduce because I just think the dynamics are so cool. And that is they're a mother-daughter team, right? And they work together to build their network marketing business. They're incredible. And I'm gonna read a few things here. They're one of the first teams in their prior company to take the business online. They won the award for the fastest growing sales team in that company 5 years in a row. So they got lucky for 5 years. No, just kidding. You don't get lucky for 5 years in a row, right? They had the fastest growing team for 5 years in a row. I think we might be able to learn something from them. And they are very passionate about helping entrepreneurs work smarter, not harder, so they can generate revenue on autopilot while creating the lifestyle of their dreams. And that's something that's, really, really cool. They're not about, the hustle culture of hustle every single minute of every single day and be, a lunatic, but like, how do you have adventures in your personal space and have a thriving business? And they've spoken on that several times for us. We're very honored to have them. Please help me welcome Kathy and Jordan. Kathy and Jordan, how goes it?
Hello. What's up? We're so excited to be here. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to talk today. First, before we get into it, I do want to tell people what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to define your target market, how to define who it is that you're really crafting marketing for, and that this is a very misunderstood topic. It's a topic that I think some people go down the rabbit hole, for years and never actually figure out. And so I know that you guys specialize in making things simple and easy to understand. So really excited about that. But before we get into that, tell me or tell everyone, how did you guys end up in network marketing? How did that happen?
Oh
All right,
gosh.
it starts with mom, so I'll let her start.
Yeah. So my husband and I actually I was teaching school, he was farming, and we owned. And then when we found out we were expecting Jordan, I was like, well, I want to keep teaching, and he was like, well, I want to keep farming. I mean, we wanted to have a child, but we were like, we've got careers, and literally they laid her in our arms, and we were like, okay, we got to figure out something. And so seriously, at that moment, it was like, this is like something's got to change. And so we opened a retail furniture store, of all things. And and said, we'll just take her to work with us,
That wasn't the answer I thought was going to happen. So
No,
we
no,
opened a retail fair. Oh,
it's like, let's just
hmm.
open a furniture store. And so we did. And then 10 years later, we had our son. And let me tell you, raising a little boy, you can relate to this, Ray, in a furniture store is not the same as raising a little girl in a furniture store, at least not our boy and our girl. That was just like night and day. We could almost tell from day one. And so all about the kids, all about family. So we sold the store or sold the building, closed the store down, and we started looking. We really and truly, my husband, like, he started a new business, and I was going to be the stay-at-home mom. We've got these two kids, and all was good for about a year. And I thought, gosh, I still want to do something, but I really want to be focused at home. And so I actually reached out to the Direct Sell Association and said, and just started researching the companies. I mean, no one approached me. I started looking, thinking, well, this is
Wow.
something I could do. I had heard of Mary Kay, I'd heard of these different things, and thought, you know what? That would be a really good way to contribute to the family, still have some time for myself. But it would almost be, in my mind, I thought, oh, this would kind of be like a hobby that I get paid for. Like I don't, and so seriously, that's
Right.
how it started. But then, of course, you can't hang around network marketers very long before you start, or direct sellers, before you start seeing the big picture, right? And
Yeah.
the what's really possible. And
And I just want to point out,
yeah,
like some people are scared to talk to their friends and family members and scared to reach out to people. Yet there's some people that are actually contacting the Direct Sales Association to find a company,
yeah,
and so it always cracks me up. It just cracks me up how some people they're so tied up and I don't want to talk to anybody. Yet there's people out there so hungry they actually do their own damn research because no one approached them. Like it's just
exactly.
and then go on to be a top earner.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that we had, family friends that, had they invited me to take a look, I mean, I would have definitely said yes. I would have looked.
Now,
And
after the fact, did any of your friends or family members say, "Hey, wait a minute,"
oh yeah,
like that they're in a oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
bet, and they were just too
And
scared to approach it. They never
exactly.
approached
And
it.
this was not social media's time, so
Right,
it wasn't like you didn't know that people were maybe doing something else from what you were following. It would have had to
right.
be a conversation. And the only lady who had ever approached me was a lady in the produce aisle at the grocery store about Mary Kay, of all things. And that was back
Yeah,
when I was in college. And I was just kind of like, no, thank you. But of course, I never saw her again.
She
So
never
yeah.
followed up.
no,
So
she never followed
Never
up.
followed up.
So anyway, it was just one of those things. And so anyway, that's kind of where it all started. And then I just got really serious. I remember I reached out to my sponsor one day and I said, we had our third child, and I said, I'm either going to go back to teaching when she starts, or I am going to make this thing, I'm going to replace my teaching income. And at the time, believe Paige was like 2. And so I had 3 years to go. And by the time Paige started school, I had tripled what I was making as a teacher. And
Wow.
the rest is history. It was like, okay, not going back to teaching. Although we teach in our marketing all the
Right.
time. So my classroom just kind of changed. And then I really wanted to build online. So I started off direct sales. Hey, Stacy. Started
Mhm.
out direct sales. And then I kind of moved into network marketing from there, because the party thing just wasn't my thing, just because I wanted to be at home. So,
Yeah.
and this was before parties were being done online. The company I was with did not have a website at the time. This was definitely early
Wow.
network marketing. So you couldn't do it online.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a website. So anyway, that's where it started. Now, Jordan, you can share.
Yeah. And so I want to point out
go ahead.
one more thing here so, Kathy tripled her income as a teacher
Mhm.
with a company that didn't even have a website. Like,
That's
so,
funny.
people think that it's tough now and different and hard. And, it's just like, you just have so many different tools. You're making it hard because you're overcomplicating things.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So Jordan, what was your introduction into this? Did you kind of watch your mom for a long time? Were you resistant to it, or did you jump right in?
Yeah, so I watched my mom and I helped her a lot. Like I remember, loading stuff up in the back of the car. We'd go do home parties together on Saturdays or after school in her first company. And I watched her really like grow through the industry. And I watched what she was able to do with my little brother and sister who were home, all day. She never put them in daycare. And I grew up riding horses and competing in horses. Like Sabrina, and
Yeah.
I'm bringing her a gift.
And Jess.
Do what? And Jess?
And Jess.
I didn't know
Yeah,
Jess
she
really.
competed. Yeah,
Oh,
she
that's
competed.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, well, we, horses are very time-consuming, very expensive hobby, and I grew up through the barn watching these girls graduate and have to sell their horse. Or, one of my closest friends now is a retired teacher who never got to start writing until she retired from teaching because she didn't have the time or money to do it. And that's why I saw all these people, they loved it growing up. And then the minute they had to start adulting, life took over and they had to give up their hobby. And I was like, I don't want to be that person. So I started looking at careers, and network marketing was like the only thing I could find that would give me the time, or at least had the potential to give me the time and the money, freedom to be able to keep writing.
Right.
And I was like the most shy, nerdy kid you would ever meet in your life in high school. Like I still am.
Is that true, Kathy?
Not in my eyes, no.
Okay.
I had like 2 friends, Mom. It was awful. I was really, really, really nerdy in school. And I mean, I skipped class one time and it was to go ride my horse. Like I was like the little do-good kid, like straight A student, but I had no friends. And so
That's not nerdy. That's just being a good kid because you were raised by really good parents.
Yeah, well, I was still really nerdy too. So anyway, I ended up like starting this business, and I was more terrified to talk to people I knew than I was to talk to strangers. So I just started right away with like cold calls and cold messages. Same thing. We weren't really on social media back then. This was in 2005. And so I just started cold calling. And the very first call I made.
How old were you when this?
I was 18.
When you
I started like
18.
as soon as I turned 18. I was still a senior in high school.
That's
it was
amazing.
like right before prom.
Wow.
And I was so nervous on my first cold call. I will never forget this. I picked up the phone and I said, "Hi, Jordan, this is Vanessa." And that lady, she ended up signing up later on, not right away.
Wow.
She was signing up.
Your first cold call, she signed up?
She did, yes. And she went on to be one of my biggest legs in my business, which was really funny. And so I always tell people, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, because I called her my name, and I mean, she was so confused, bless her heart. And I recovered and we made it through. But I was so nervous to work this business, and I made myself, and I think this is probably one of the things that helped me the most as an introvert. I hear introverts all the time say they can't grow their business, and I forced myself to do things that scared me until they didn't scare me anymore. And with practice, that happened. So like I was scared to talk to people, so I signed up for a local networking group. And I would call my dad every Thursday at 11:45, right before I walked in that room, and I'd be like, "I don't think I can go in." And he'd say, "Yes, you can." And I'd be like, "Not today. I don't think I can go in today." And he's like, "Do it. Call me when you're done." And I'd be like, "Okay." And I'd go into that meeting, and I learned how to talk to people, and I learned how to be confident, and I learned, how to put myself out there in a way to be able to still grow a business. And it took me 5 years to go full time, but I've been full time since 2010, and I haven't looked back since then. So
well, and I think it's important to point out here, like one of the guys on our team now, who's one of our biggest legs, was a guy she met in that networking luncheon that she
That's
would go to
amazing.
way back then. And I mean, through the years, you know, it's all about networking
That's
and building those
awesome.
relationships and keeping those connections. And so I think
Yeah.
that's an important thing too. You never know when the timing is going to be right for somebody. And so anyway, that's not what this is about, but I think it's interesting that she met someone at that networking event that today is in our company and is a good family friend, you know, but wasn't. We didn't
That's
know him at
awesome.
that time. So pretty cool.
No, that's super cool. And I feel like it's a good, this is like a good, that's a good place to transition and talk about, you know, target market and talk about, you know, who's your, you know, whatever words, I know some people use different words like avatar, target market, niche, you know, et cetera. And so, you know, some of the things you're sharing, you know, cold calling, going to networking meetings, that's not necessarily, you know, super tied into an avatar or whatever. And so, you know, don't get it twisted that, you know, once you, or at least in my words, and you correct me if you think I'm wrong, but, you know, like once you come up with that super target market, it doesn't mean you don't prospect when you're out and about, or you don't, you know, try to meet new people that don't exactly fit your criteria, but you have a baseline of this is the type of person that I'm wanting to attract to me, I assume is what you're going to, you know, talk about. But how does one define their target market?
So who here in the comments has been told that you just need to find a niche? And you're like, what the heck does that mean? Right? Because it's such a, I know the first time Mom and I heard it, we were like, a what? Like, what do you mean? Like,
how do you spell that?
Is that Home Depot? Like, is it?
Yeah, a niche. Yeah, like, am I going to build a shelf? Like, what's going to happen? And so it was, yeah,
Exactly.
you've got to find your niche. And ultimately, what that comes down to is knowing who you help and how you help them. And you can say that all the time, but ultimately then your content, what you post on social media, needs to back that up and prove it, right? And we see people all the time, they say, oh, I have helped people, you know, I help moms have better health. But you go to your profile, your account, and nothing on there would make me believe that you help moms have better health, right? So what we're talking about today is how to really lock in that target market. And then at RankMakers Live, we're talking about the content you create so that when your target market finds you online, they're like, oh my gosh, this person, they're the solution to my problem. They are the solution I've been looking for. And that's how you start attracting prospects to you in your business. So
I think one of the biggest, you know, when you do it right, I think one of the major takeaways, because like I think like when you say, hey, this person is the solution, and some people are like, well, I'm no expert, I'm no guru or whatever. I think, you know, one layer of that is this person understands me. Like they get me. I relate with this person. And, you know, and that's, you know, if you are trying to solve a particular problem, know what is the real suffering around that problem.
Right.
You know, like I heard my friend Tim Sales say this, and it just so resonated with me. You know, at one point I was, you know, 60 pounds heavier than I am right now. And I heard him say in a quick little blurb, and he's like, listen, man, if you're the type of guy that, you know, turns the light off before you take your shirt off in front of your wife, then, you know, when you go to bed, then this is something. And I'm like, damn, that's me. Cause at the time I was just like, I was so embarrassed. Like I would just turn the lights off and then take my shirt off. And so, you know, does this person understand me? Which you don't necessarily have to be a guru to understand someone or relate with somebody. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it basically comes down to what do you want to be known for, and coming down to being a resource for people, right? You know, my horse trainer the other day picked up the phone and called me. She said, I know you guys like to eat healthy. My daughter's coming in town. She's a vegetarian. Where's a good place for me to take her? Now, I'm not an expert on, you know, eating healthy, but she knew that I could be a resource for her and that I could give her a recommendation of a place to go eat. And so when you think about it from the terms of really taking people on your journey, people love to go on a journey with you, right? They love to see, like, you're like, you know what, I'm going here, and I'm getting cut off the screen. I'm going here, and I want to take as many people with me as I can, whether that's your health journey, your business journey, whatever. And so just showing up as a resource for people, not feeling necessarily like you have to be an expert. Don't you think, Mom?
Oh, I do. And I think that it helps. I mean, this what may help clarify a little bit. You kind of decide, and we hear this all the time, do I lead with the products or do I lead with the business? And honestly, you can do either. And we're actually at the end, we'll kind of tell you how you can build a team, even if you choose to lead with the products.
Yeah.
We'll give you one little sentence that is like just golden for that. But, you know, I think sometimes people do get confused. They're like, well, and I'll say this. I mean, I'll say this jokingly because it is kind of a joke. Jordan just talked about us being health, and we're with a health and wellness company. But I can promise you, um, if you most people would not come to us and say, what's the best supplement for XYZ or whatever. We lead with I mean, because people know we're business builders. We focus more on the business. We're not, so you won't see us posting a whole lot or talking about the products. And I kind of think this goes back to, it's like, what do you enjoy when you get up in the mornings? What do you just love talking about? Like you could just talk about it all day long. Well, I just couldn't talk about our products all day long. I love our products, but
Sure.
it's just, I just could not talk about them all day long. It just wouldn't.
Well, and what do you like to research and educate yourself on, right?
Yeah,
Because Ray is
exactly.
thinking of ILTEE.
Mm-hmm.
And so it comes down to, what do you want to invest your time learning about so that you can then share what you learn and become that resource for your ideal customer, your ideal teammate.
Exactly.
Because when you can become that resource, and you can read something this morning and turn around and share it with your audience that afternoon. It's that
Right.
simple. So you don't have to be the expert. You can just be the resource.
Exactly. And so it's about, what do you enjoy talking about, and what do you enjoy reading about? What do you enjoy learning about? I know we've said this before, but I'm sure it can be said again because people don't know this. Ray was one of the first, if not the first person we ever bought a course from and just dug into. But guess what? It wasn't about products. It was about building the network marketing, team, building network marketing, building our business, as far as finding team builders, finding people that we wanted to sponsor. So not gaining customers. We bought your program because you could help us build a team. And so what we were investing our money, investing our time in learning how to become better sponsors in that company where we were top for all those years. It was very much so because of information we got from you way back at a point in there. So, I mean, I think it's so important to understand, like, what is it like? Where do you spend your time? When it comes to when you're learning, and I'm not talking about, attending your company event and they're talking about products. Of course, you're going to learn about them. I mean, that happens naturally. But if that's not what you just turn to in your spare time, or when you're like, oh, I need to, we're really, really insistent on, you've got to be doing professional and personal development every single day. Well, the professional, in my opinion, is more specific to your industry or your company. And so is that your products and what they do for you, or maybe the service and what it does, or is it the team building side? So I think it helps people know.
So, sometimes when this topic comes up, someone will say things like, I just want to make sales. Why do I got to figure out all this stuff? Because they just, they're not understanding kind of the process. What do you say to that? Like when someone says, target market, like what, I just want to make sales.
Well, I think that, if that's really what you want to do, that's totally fine. But what I've found is that by learning marketing, you make more sales, and it's easier and it's more fun. So, and what's really funny is some people, they hear the word marketing and they think funnels and systems and all this complicated stuff. But, like this morning, my cousin sent me a message and she said, hey, I saw your Facebook story yesterday and I want to pick about email. I was talking about the importance of, using email in your marketing and how many sales we get from email. She's like, I need some help on that. Could we go to lunch next week? Well, she's an insurance agent. She's not even a network marketer, right?
Sure.
But when you start sharing resources and valuable tips with people, which is kind of what you're learning and doing anyway, basically just taking people on your journey, right? Then you're going to start having people reach out to you and say, well, what are you using? Or what are you doing? Or what would you do about this? And I think it's really valuable to, like, if you're going to be actively prospecting and you're going to be actively learning and you're going to be actively participating in your business, why not take people on your journey so that you can attract more people to you along the way as you do it. So.
Gotcha.
Well, and this is definitely for that person this isn't for the person that wants to make $300 a month, right? If you want to just make a few $100s a month, it's kind of like what you talk about a lot of times, right? It's like, well, the person that wants to make a few $100s a month, they probably don't take it quite as serious as the person who wants to replace their teaching income or triple their teaching income or whatever.
Right.
And I know you've said it so many times. It's like, it's intellectually lazy not to learn marketing. Marketing is a big part of what we do. Well, in any business, not just in network marketing, but any business out there, marketing is a big piece of that. Whether you're a realtor or it doesn't matter what you do. You've got to learn how to market, which is finding people to talk to, and letting people know about what you do. So, I think a big part of that too is like, so once you know your direction, who are you talking to? And I'll let Jordan kind of expand on that a little bit, but kind of who you
talk to is a lot of times just you, right? It's your ideal prospect's going to look a lot like you and your journey and the journey that you've taken. So
let's say someone's on here and they're in a health and wellness company. They got a bunch of different products. They have things that help with, energy or stress or sleeping or, whatever else. And they're just like, I could help so many people. And I think that's where people really struggle is, my thing's for everybody. What would be some maybe questions or steps would you walk them through to help them figure out what would be their, ideal target market for them?
So this does kind of go back to looking at your own journey and what products do you use? Like, what is your product story? What's the product that made the biggest difference in your life? And then really honing in on that and sharing your story with others and sharing value around that product. Because we're in the same boat, right? We've got a company that's got a ton of different products. And what's funny is we sell a ton of different products, even though we don't talk about product. But, just for example, the other day, a lady was asking about one of our main products. It's the one we most frequently talk about. And a great little tip is when, she was about to place her order and we said, oh, by the way, why don't you also add this, this, and this? If you've been, this will also benefit you. It will enhance your experience, right? It'll make it better for you. And so we always tell people, pick one or two of your products that you're just like crazy about, if that's going to be your target market. Because, someone that's looking to lose weight versus someone that's looking to, get rid of skin wrinkles, right? Those are going to be potentially two different people, although there's going to be some overlap sometimes, right? But you want you don't want to just be out there talking to everybody, because if you're talking to everybody, you're going to be talking to nobody, right? But as you grow your audience and you share what you're using, people are going to want to try more and more of the stuff that you're using and that you're sharing about. But in terms of actually growing your audience, focus on one or two things that you really want to give value around. And then use your Facebook and Instagram stories and things like that to share the other products that you offer that you're using. And then always ask when you have somebody going to place an order, always ask, or make a recommendation. And our rule of thumb is you make a recommendation until they say no, right? So, hey, do you want to add the toothpaste on? Oh yeah, that sounds great. Cool. You should also add the mouthwash. Okay. All right, awesome. Do you want to add the energy drink? No, not today. Okay, cool. No problem. Go with the main product you ordered, the toothpaste, the mouthwash, you're good to go. Right. And so we always upgrade until they say no. And then you've not just sold one product, you're creating a whole product experience for them as well. So.
Yeah. And there's so much good there. And I know how people think. They're like, oh, I don't want to be pushy. And, but here's the thing, the best time to sell someone something is when they're already buying something. Mm-hmm. And so I used to, many moons ago, I used to run a GNC, a General Nutrition Center, and they go a lot off of average sale, right? And so you got to have that average sale up. So if someone comes in for a candy bar, I'm trying to get them on multivitamins and stuff, right? And that's, sometimes that would work. Here's what you're doing. So instead of thinking that you're bothering them or whatever, you're giving them a better chance to fall in love with the company and have a good experience. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people, they buy the, I don't have any good props around here, but they buy the product they think they want. They get it, they try it, they don't like it. If they had bought 2 products, you'd have another shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you know, you just have to think you're giving them the best chance to fall in love with the company, and you're also teaching them from the get-go. So if they ever talk to someone who's coming as a customer, you know, it's very, remember when I talked to you and I said you should have the toothpaste and the mouthwash and blah, 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 right? They're going, oh yeah, that's right. And you know, you weren't offended by that. You actually bought the stuff. Yeah, that's true. And so like that really helps solidify how they should best, you know, sell. I think, you know, people don't talk about that enough. And so I really love it that you talked about that. It's awesome.
Well, and I
And
think
it
so
reminds, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's
Oh, I was just going to say real quick. It's, you know, an example I've used quite a few times is, you know, when I did some consulting for an insurance company, they had every insurance on the planet. They had, you know, house insurance, car insurance, life insurance, shoe insurance, whatever else, right? And that was their marketing. Like, we do all insurances, and so they didn't seem like they were the experts of any of them. It was just like a hodgepodge warehouse of insurances, and instead changed their marketing to lead with one form. We are the best at this thing. But then once someone's a customer or once someone's buying, say, hey, you want to consolidate your bills and go ahead and add this, this, and this. That's a very different conversation. That's, you know, internal marketing or internal marketing, external marketing. What's your external marketing? Is it painting you as this is the person to talk to about this particular thing, or they're trying to be the expert or knowledgeable about 50 things? And so I think, you know, to your points.
Geico does that, right? Isn't it Geico that says 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance?
Right.
But they sell all insurance. So, but their marketing is towards your car insurance because they know they can get you in the door there. They can bundle and save you even more. So you're more likely to move your other stuff over.
Definitely. Great example. Kathy, what you were about to say something?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, you've got to remember that, and this is especially true for those of you who do have a lot of products in your company. I mean, if you just have 3 products, okay, if a person goes to your website, they're probably going to see all 3. But if you've got a lot, I mean, they're not going to, your potential customer and possibly even your customer, they're not going to see all those. And you don't have to be an expert on all of them. You just need to know, oh, we've got a skincare line. Oh, we've got, you know, home cleaning line. We've got this line. We have that line. And so you can at least make those recommendations. And, you know, if there again, like I say, you're not the expert, but you do know more than your customer knows. And so you at least know that, oh yeah, we have a mouth rinse. So if you're going to get the toothpaste, and guess what? You're going to save $3 if you do the bundle. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of passing along that savings, you know, or if you get this many things in your shopping cart, they give you a 10% discount or free shipping, or, you know, maybe you've got something like that in your company. You never know. I mean, every company's got something, right? Some little something that you're going to know that your customer's probably not going to know about. So you're actually doing them a favor by bringing it up.
Exactly. Well, it's what we always say is you're the expert, not your prospect. And by passing your knowledge on to them, you're really just being professional, and you're really like, you know, you're telling them how to get the best experience possible. So.
Right, for sure. All right, so I have two remaining questions. One, we're at, you know, so drop a comment if you've gotten value from this. I've seen, you know, quite a few comments, people thanking you. So drop a comment, let these ladies know that they've been helpful. So 2 questions. One is, what are you going to be covering at RankMakers Live?
So excited.
So we are going to
away.
We are going to be teaching our less is more content strategy. So
love it.
We're really big on showing up consistently. And we know most of you, this is how we were when we started off, you're fitting your business in around your busy life, right? Like you are trying so hard to juggle, like your plate was full when you started your business. So now it's even more full. So how can you show up consistently, but without like running yourself into the ground with content? And I think that as more and more platforms get popular, you feel this, you know, need to be everywhere all the time, or you're missing out. And so what we're going to show you is how to take one really great piece of content every week and turn it into an entire week's worth of posts on social media that have a purpose, right? Because the other thing we see people fall into, and I used to do this and mom used to do this, is you're posting all the time but you're not really getting anything out of that posting. And it's because you're not really sure, like your posts don't have something that they're leading people to, right? Like you always want to be posting with a purpose. So if you can do one really great piece of content that's got a great call to action, and then spend the rest of the week redirecting people back to that same call to action, oh my gosh, it just will simplify your life. We can pretty much plan a whole week's worth of content in about an hour on a Sunday afternoon, which is great.
Nice.
And we're going to show you our whole process behind that at RankMakers Live.
Well, and it makes social media fun again. Like it takes away the confusion, you know, it actually, which is what I love about it is once
you should make hats or something.
Yeah, exactly. But once you know that you've got the content figured out, guess what? Then you get to be social. You get to have fun with your people because you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, what am I going to post this afternoon? You've already got that figured out. So you get to actually just enjoy your followers, enjoy your friends, and hang out. And that again, it attracts those people to you because they see that you're actually having fun doing what you're doing. So it's real important.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to give another plug for RankMakers Live too. We did it last year, and I was very hesitant, or not hesitant. That's probably not the word, but I was like, is it going to be the same with it being virtual? I don't know. You know, it wasn't RankMakers Live that I was concerned about. It was just the virtual experience. Mm-hmm. It was amazing, amazing. Mm-hmm. And anyone was there, you can drop it in the comments, and you can back us up on that because it was absolutely amazing. First Higdon event we ever went to was what, Jordan? 4 years ago now. Where's the camera? Is it 4 years ago? And oh my gosh, totally changed our business. Like turned it just from, I mean, upside down, but in the good way. It was so amazing, helped us so much, and so many aha moments from that. And in my opinion, RankMakers Live is just like that on steroids. It's just 3 days. Can you imagine, guys? I mean, 3 days of just being poured into. And I want to emphasize, this is the only thing I see people do, and I think Ray will agree with this. Schedule your time to be there. Like put it on your calendar, pretend it's not virtual.
Take it seriously.
Yeah, take it seriously and just say, hey, I've got to go to this event. Even though the event is maybe just a nook, you know, in the corner of your bedroom in a chair and you've got your laptop, maybe you're going to go to the coffee shop and watch it, whatever. But just schedule it as if you're actually getting on a plane, staying in a hotel and going. That's an idea. Maybe go to a local hotel, you know, why not?
We had people last year go to a hotel. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. That's super cool. And I'm really excited. I think your content, your topic is going to be so amazing at RankMakers Live. So if you don't have your ticket yet, rankmakerslive.com. My second question, will this humongous investment in having Sabrina go through horse training and everything, will it keep her away from the boys?
Yes,
it will help.
It will help.
Totally
it will help. I only skipped class one time, and my mom thought I was going to see my boyfriend, and she called my horse trainer, and she's like, Jordan told me she was at the barn this afternoon. Is that true? And she's like, oh yeah, she showed up about lunch and never left all day. And so, I mean, when you fall in love with a horse, like who needs a boy? Even my husband knows. Like the horses.
He's up here.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Well, and the cool thing about horses too is the discipline they learn from the packing up and the cleaning and the responsibility. And I saw Sabrina the other day, I need a drink of water. And they were like, no, you don't need a drink. I heard Ray going, you're fine. You know, it was like, toughen up, little one, you can do this. You know? And so I think that the discipline they learn from it is just, I mean,
like the cleanup and the grooming and everything.
Yeah, it's not just
I could do a whole RankMakers Live talk on what I've learned from horses and how it's helped me in my business for real. So she's in good hands. She picked a good hobby. Just you might have to get a second job to pay for it.
I know. I'm gonna have to work hard. I'm gonna have to do two events a year or something. But, well, I appreciate you ladies. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you loved it, drop a comment. Let them know that you appreciate it. And also make sure that if you don't have a ticket, grab a ticket, rankmakerslive.com. But thank you so much. I love you guys. It's so cool. One of the comments I wanted to point out was, where to go? We've had a few comments since. I mean, find it. But someone said this inspires me to talk to my 18-year-old about the business. And so like you're inspiring people, you're living a great example, and we just really love and appreciate you.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. We are honored to be here, and we'll see
Yeah.
everybody at RankMakers Live. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Give these guys some love. Feel free to share if you got value from this, and we look forward to seeing you at RankMakers Live. RankMakersLive.com. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, guys.